Take all the time to set up your TIG machine and your torch perfectly. You run a pass and see some crazy stuff at the start like this? Yuck. I may know what part of the problem is here. Are you flooring the foot pedal right away? Now, what happens when we jump on the foot pedal too fast? When our arc initiates, our arc is already at 100% of the amperage we have programmed on our machine. So this is causing an instability with the tungsten electrode. The tungsten is going to become unstable and pieces of this tungsten are going to be ejected into your workpiece and the weld itself. Arc on slowly and just let the puddle establish nice and smooth. After the puddle has established, you can now dig into the heat as much as you want. Arcing on at a lower amperage with the foot pedal is going to allow this arc to establish a lot easier, and now we can get into the real heat because our puddle has been established properly. No initial shock to the tungsten, we have no little bits of that splattered here and there, and that electrode we took the time and care to prepare properly is going to last much longer. Typically with this joint, somebody is gonna learn this joint in a position like this. I recommend learning it this way first. You can see the plates now form a 45-degree angle instead of a 90-degree angle. Trying to do it in a 90-degree position, what we do here is we create a high side and a low side that we now have to deal with this joint. We're gonna have one side that is drastically affected by gravity, while the other side, not so much. When we were practicing this one, working on a 45-degree angle instead, both sides are equally affected by gravity. What we do here at this point is we can learn about getting proper starts that are established exactly the way we want, and then maintaining straight lines as we start to move. It makes it much easier to understand what it takes to get results like we want to see. Learning to get our lines as straight and consistent as possible. Once my students are comfortable with it by this point, we can then take the comfort that somebody has already built, and we can then apply it to working on this exercise in a 90-degree position. So when I'm welding on a project, I actually switch my balance all the time. When I'm working with a really thin type of material, I'm not gonna be welding with as much heat or amperage. So in this case, I'm actually gonna run a little bit more of the positive side of the cycle. You could say somewhere I'll end up being around 70% negative, 30% positive. What this is gonna do is run much more of the positive side of the cycle. It's gonna get me some much shinier stuff. And it keeps the end of the tungsten really clean and in good shape as well. While these settings may work great for thin material, for example, what if I need to grab my torch and do a fillet weld that's much hotter? Typically somebody is going to turn up the amperage a little bit more, or they're going to dig in for a little more heat with the foot pedal. Somebody is going to notice the tip of their tungsten begin to flutter and wobble around. So typically in this situation, when I want to weld something like that that's a little bit hotter, I'm going to turn my positive side of the cycle down quite a bit. The tungsten is going to become more stable and you will not see it flutter around like this. And you're going to find that your tungsten preparation is going to last way longer. Now this is something that I work on with my students, even if we have all of the settings on our machine set up perfectly. And we have all of the nicest gear in our torch put together perfectly. If we pull away or remove the torch from the welding area after a weld, you have just yanked that poor little tungsten right out of the gas shield. Removing it from the gas shield, you develop contamination right away. So look at that, our tungsten's supposed to look nice and shiny and clean, and we can take a look at the one we see here now. That looks disgusting. And what happens when you go to flash up and start your next pass? Blah, blah. This one is gonna barf all of this contamination into the start of the next pass. So if your post flow is set to a value that is long enough, if you're yanking the torch out of the gas shield, you're contaminating arguably the one thing that we really need to keep clean. How you finish a pass is how you start the next one. Hold your torch still, completely let the post flow cycle finish running. This is actually a term that I call stepping distance. I'm sure you could probably figure it out for yourself, but it refers to the distance in between each step where filler material is added to the weld. You can see that ideally, we want to cover a good portion of the previous puddle. For example, remember, if we are doing just a single dab of filler material like this, the area that's always going to be the most prone to surface cracking, this area is always going to be in the center. No matter what distance of stepping you are using, your current puddle always wants to cover the center of the previous puddle. Sometimes stepping a little further apart can cause the filler material to fall a little bit flat, and when this happens, it can cause inadequate penetration to the base material. Sometimes when we really tighten up the stepping distance, this can actually decrease our travel speed sometimes. And when this happens, this can increase the overall heat input into your workpiece, resulting in overheating.